Welcome back to Quarantine Apologetics, defending the faith while under lockdown. And I just want to follow up on yesterday's episode. I played a clip from a podcast of Michael Korn and a rabbi. I'm going to play a clip again, and this is a clip where the rabbi thinks that the Holocaust was a pan-Christian phenomenon.
But it was there. But again,
we're the ones who killed Christ. I mean, this is what happened in Germany was not just German. It was a pan-Christian idea of what a Jew is and where they fit in the world. And anti-Semitism is on the rise again.
That's true, but also some of the strongest resistance came, for example, in Italy.
So the rabbi thinks that it's not just a German thing; it's a pan-Christian thing. That the Holocaust was a Christian thing, and most Jews today believe that the Holocaust was a Christian phenomenon. It was Christianity being carried out in its purest form, because our texts are anti-Semitic at their core, and therefore that's the logical conclusion. You have to purge the ones who killed Christ from this earth. Although the church always prayed for their conversion. So now, first of all, the idea, I don't know in history of Jews being persecuted, very rare exceptions, being persecuted because they didn't believe in Jesus. A lot of times they were expelled from a land, but usually that's because they charge interest on loans, what was called usury, and they did they got wrongly blamed for the Black Plague and stuff like that. So they thought they had done the plague, and so they did pogroms against them. Very rarely, very, very, very rarely were they actually persecuted because they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. But that's sadly how most Jews look back at history. They're like, in fact, if a Jew thinks, I'm going to explore Christianity, they'll be told by their parents, you know that your ancestors chose the sword over baptism, and it's something like that, and like a lot of people, a lot of them buy it up, but that's a myth. No, the occasional baptism or death was always condemned by the church. The church never endorsed baptism or death. And of course the Holocaust. Here's my biggest objection to the Holocaust being a Christian phenomenon. I'll tell you. If Christians wanted to kill all the Jews because they didn't believe in Jesus, why didn't they do it when the church was in 100% control? Why didn't they do it in the year 1200 when the Pope could dethrone a king with a simple papal bull, when he could put a whole country under interdict, when he could call crusades where people from all Europe would go and fight somewhere in the Middle East? Because, no, when the church had absolute power, it didn't do that. In fact, question, was Germany more Christian in the 11th century or in the 20th century when the Holocaust happened? Now, you'd have to say 11th century. However, when the first crusade was called, a bunch of crusaders attacked Jews in the Rhineland, and the church protected them from these rogue crusaders who weren't doing what the Pope told them. The Pope said, go to the Holy Land. Yeah, and so the next time someone says, it was a Christian phenomenon, just tell them the obvious answer. If the church wanted to kill all the Jews, it could have when it had absolute power. In the mid-20th century, when this happened, religion in Germany and most of Europe had been reduced to a social club status. The closest you had to a Christian state in Europe in the time of Hitler was Franco. And Hitler had helped Franco out earlier, and then as the war was getting worse and worse for Adolf Hitler, he's like, Franco, come join. I need some help. But Spain just stayed out. Oh yeah, a few months. We'll be in a few months later. Can you come? Oh no, sorry. And they kept delaying them, and eventually Germany had lost. Spain was the closest thing to a Christian state at the time, although it was not a Christian state. It was the closest to it. And it wanted nothing to do with Nazi Germany. So that's the thing, folks. If you say the Holocaust, if someone says Holocaust was a Christian thing, you just say, no, the Christians could have done it when they were in power, and they didn't, so there you go. All right, God bless.